Peaky Blinders, a show that captivated everyone across the world. And it is all because of this man, Thomas Shelby, an enigmatic and compelling character that started from the slums of Birmingham to becoming one of the most feared men in all of London. A life trajectory that most men want for themselves. So how did Tommy achieve all of this? And how can you apply it to your own life as a man? Well, today I will be discussing just that. Today I will be talking about the lessons that every man can take from the iconic Thomas Shelby. Number 1. Remain still. Life will throw you every curveball possible, playing with your emotions just to see what you are made of. In these situations, we are hardwired to go into fight or flight mode to prepare ourselves for what's to come. While it is human nature, being a slave to your body's reaction is a sign of weakness and a lack of confidence in your abilities. Being able to stand your ground and stare right in the eye of danger and confrontation is a skill Thomas Shelby has mastered. Through every confrontation and impending doom, Thomas is able to look them in the eye with a stone-cold stare as if to say, "Give me your best shot." And to add insult to injury to his foes, Thomas demonstrates an unimpressed body language as if danger and the threat of death is a part of his routine, which one can argue actually is. Safe to say most of you aren't living in the slums with the threat of mobsters knocking down your door any second. But this is still applicable to you, as Thomas's confidence in the face of danger comes from two things: his confidence in his ability to fight and his experiences in the war that has made him numb to danger. Now, this is not a sign for you to go sign up and become a soldier right away, but instead, this is a sign for you to build a formidable body that can withstand and perform in the face of danger. While traditional rules in combat sports go out of the window in fistfights outside the gym, training in any martial art will give you the basic skills and awareness necessary to be able to adapt in a real-life brawl. The small doses of hand-to-hand combat in a controlled environment will develop confidence in your capabilities to protect yourself should the need arise. Confrontations do not only happen in a physical sense, they can also happen psychologically. When an opponent is trying to get Thomas riled up and out of character, Thomas's ability to stay poised and speak in a measured manner is a valuable skill in today's society where nobody even ever throws hands anymore but throws insults on the internet instead. Since you're on the internet as well right now, why don't you subscribe to the channel, since you obviously found our content meaningful to make it this far into the video. Staying within yourself and being able to decipher which person deserves your time, energy, and emotion is a powerful tool at your disposal. Being skilled in the art of combat both physically and mentally will give any man a great level of confidence, since he does not have to shy away from any situation that may go south at any moment. Number 2. Be driven by paranoia. The edge that Thomas has over his foes is rooted in paranoia. The paranoia that everything he's built crashes and he will be forced to go back to where he started. Paranoia that his family may be harmed. This paranoia is what keeps Thomas on his toes, constantly thinking 5 steps ahead and seeing things from every angle. Every one of you should develop a foresight that sees everything that could happen and develop contingencies to protect you and the people you love. It is also this paranoia that fuels Thomas to push for bigger and better things. Racetracks? Not enough. Production factories? Not enough. The entirety of Birmingham? Not ***kin enough. The bigger your empire, the lesser the likelihood that people see you as the failure that you once were. As a man, you should be chasing your next evolution, and this may not always equate to money every time. Run a marathon or learn a new skill to add to your toolbox, it really doesn't matter. The point is to put yourself in situations you feel uncomfortable in and see where your best takes you. Complacency is only reserved for when you are 6 feet under the ground. Now, don't mistake this for being ungrateful for the things you have and the things you've achieved. What I'm trying to say is, while you should be proud of where you are now, never lose that fire within yourself to see where your limits lie. As Thomas once said, "I'm not a traitor to my class. I'm just an extreme example of what a working man can achieve." Number 3. Who says you should be happy? Thomas smiled only a handful of times during the entirety of the show, and most of which were moments with his family. But the majority of Thomas was stone-faced and constantly in action. This is exactly what had led him to say, "There is no rest for me in this world, perhaps in the next." At a very young age, we are fed the idea that finding happiness should be one's goal in life, that laying on the beach and drinking your favorite beverage is the end-all be-all in life. But that isn't the case for Thomas. Thomas embraced the responsibility of taking care of his family and seeing how far a boy from the slums of Birmingham could push his boundaries. A sense of responsibility to himself and the people he loved was what powered Thomas through the darkest of times. While most of you watching may not have families to take care of at the moment, developing a sense of responsibility for yourself and being someone dependable for the people that you love should be your main goal. As a man, you are cursed to carry the burden of taking responsibility for every decision and action that you make, and for the people you love. You can start this process by doing things you say you're going to do. While it may seem trivial, many men nowadays do not follow through on their words. Being one of the very few that do will separate you from most of the men in the world. Number 4. Don't dig your own grave. On the surface, Peaky Blinders may seem like a show that glorifies Thomas Shelby's rise up the ranks. But if you look into the depths of it, at its core, it's about a man with PTSD who indulges in a number of vices to get him through the day and fulfill his responsibilities. While Thomas remarkably gets through his day while sipping on his favorite beverage throughout the day, the likelihood that this applies in real life is very slim to none. Mental health is a real aspect of one's life that should be taken seriously. If you are someone who is battling with addiction or has past traumas that still haunt you to this day, then this is an absolute sign for you to speak with a professional. With all the remarkable traits and decisions Thomas made in the show, the one thing he did not do right was taking care of himself. For much of the show, he would bathe in alcohol and smoke till his lungs went black to cope with the stresses and traumas that he had accrued in his life. In the final season, Tommy does address his addiction and refuses to drink when he was forced to drink alcohol, a transformation I would suggest most of you do if you struggle with any form of substance. Again, before making any hasty decisions on your mental health, always consult a professional before doing so, as asking for help was Thomas's weakest point. Something you should not emulate if you want to be a better version of yourself. If you need any further guidance on how to become a better version of yourself, then consider subscribing to the channel to get notified on our latest videos.